Hello everyone, how are you? I am Noura Aldinani and I am a PhD student in the Faculty of Computer Science at Dalhousie University, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and I'm working under the supervision of Dr. Rita Orji and Dr. Srinivas Sambali, who contribute with me in working in this paper. And also, I am a lecturer in the Department of Computer Science and Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University in Dammam, Saudi Arabia. I'm so glad to introduce the topic of how effective is personalization and persuasive intervention for reducing sedentary behavior and promoting physical activity, a systematic review to the Personalization Persuasive Technology PPT Workshop 2020. Let's move on our outline. So for our outline, we will cover the research objectives, related works, study selection workflow, coding scheme, results, conclusion, and then references. So for our objective, this paper presents a 13 years review from 2006 to 2019 of personalized persuasive technologies for promoting physical activity and discouraging sedentary behavior. Moreover, we deconstructed the various implementations and operationalizations of the persuasive strategy in these persuasive technologies and compare their effectiveness. Thus, this paper aims to first shed light on the multiple ways of implementing personalization in these persuasive technologies to promote physical activity and reduce sedentary behavior. Second, to evaluate the effectiveness of personalized persuasive technologies for promoting physical activity and decreasing sedentary behavior. Third is to highlight trends and offer suggestions for research in the area of personalization and also in the domain of physical activity and sedentary behavior and persuasive technologies. So now let's go to our related work. So we can say that we adapted the six types of personalization, the different ways of implementation of and physical activity intervention from the work done by Ganvetker and his colleagues in 2019. So these types are summarized in the table as goal recommendations, activity recommendations, fitness partner recommendations, educational content, motivational content, and last with intervention timing. So first let's start with the goal recommendations. So the table provides the meaning and some examples. So for the goal recommendation, this means quantified goals such as step counts, floor counts, duration of exercise, calorie burn rate. For activity recommendations, this means recommending a specific type of physical activity or behavior such as standing, walking, running, and cycling. Fitness partner recommendations mean matching a user of a system to others users who are similar and have the same target goals for motivating them in maintaining or increasing their physical activity levels. Educational content means increasing users' knowledge and awareness by sending personalized feedback about the health benefits of physical activity or some techniques and tips for improving physical activity. Motivational content means motivating users to improve their physical activity by sending personalized motivational feedback and reinforcement messages. Intervention timing means finding the right and suitable time to send a recommendation or feedback to the users, such as sending a notification reminder to a user at their suitable time and opportune moments. So this is okay. These are the six types of personalization, or we can say different ways of implementing personalization, as summarized by the work done by Gan Victor 2019, and we adapt this work to our classification as well. So now let's move to the study selection workflow. For the study selection workflow, we searched different databases such as ACM Digital Library, Google Scholar, and BumpMed, and by using different keywords. And after we identified 503 34 unique titles, and after evaluating and examining the titles and abstract of the remaining articles, we included 38 studies in our reviewed paper that summarized that met our inclusion criteria and within our scope of physical activity and sedentary behavior. Now let's move on our coding scheme. For our coding scheme, we coded the 38 relevant articles by adapting the coding scheme created by Orgy and Mufat and validated by other researchers such as Al-Dinani, Al-Kahtani, and also Al-Muteri in their work. So we follow almost the same identification, which is the author's year, the domain, the health domain, the technology, the evaluation methods, persuasive strategies employed, and the theories also employ the targeted outcomes, audience, age, demographic, and the results also, and the country, and also the number of participants. We added a new identification to the coding sheet, which represents a number 5 and the arrow, which is the type of personalization as we adapted from the Ganvitker and his colleagues in their work. Now let's move on the results, our results. First, persuasive technology for physical activity and sedentary behavior trends by year. We noticed that the chart the chart present that most of the articles were published between 2016 and 2019, and 3 articles were published in each of the year of 2010, 2020, 12, and 2013 and 2014. 1 article was published in each year of 2006, 2007, 2008, and 2011. For the persuasive technology for physical activity and sedentary behavior trends by country, we noticed that most of the studies, the reviewed studies, were conducted in 16 countries, and most of them coming from USA, with the total of 17 studies, followed by UK, Netherlands, and then Canada. For the targeted health domains, we noted that most of the studies targeted at increasing or maintaining physical activity level, about 84%, followed by studies that focus on sedentary behavior and reducing sedentary behavior 11%, and only 5% of the studies focus on targeting both physical activity and sedentary behavior domains. Yeah, for the evaluation methodology used in our reviewed articles, we noted that most of the studies, like 45%, implement the mixed evaluation methodology, which is the combination of a quantitative and a qualitative approaches, and also followed by the 21% of the studies implemented qualitative methodology, and the last with 13% of the studies implemented a quantitative methodology. Now let's move on to our target audience of personalized persuasive technology. We noticed that most of the studies targeted adults with the total of 16 studies, followed by young adults, elderly, children, and then teenagers. And for the effectiveness of personalized persuasive technologies across various age groups, we counted the number of successful and successful studies for each age demographic. For example, in adults, we noted that the most effective uh, studies were targeted at adults with a total of six fully successful with six studies fully successful outcomes and seven studies with partially successful outcomes. We mean by partially successful outcome these studies that has a the outcomes of a combination of both negative and positive outcomes. For the personalization implementation and persuasive technology for physical activity and sedentary behavior, we noticed that most of the most of the studies were implemented the personalization as personalized motivational content with a total of 23 studies, followed by personalized goal recommendation 19 studies, and the least was the studies that implement personalized fitness partner recommendation with a total of one study. So now let's move on the implementation of personalization strategy. We noticed that from the reviewed articles, we that the way that the personalization had been implemented belong to the six types of personalization adapted from Gan Victor and his colleagues in their work, which is personalized goal recommendations, personalized activity recommendations, personalized fitness partner recommendations, personalized motivational content, personalized educational content, and personalized intervention timing. This table presents the implementation, the meaning for each way of strategy or for each type of strategy, and also along with the different type along with different examples. For example, like when if we go to the personalized goal recommendations, this means sending personalized messages and notification to remind users about their target quantified goals. For example, personalized context-aware coaching, generating different physical activity choices and sessions based on the user's goals and preferences. And this is an example of the work done by Marcus in 2008 and his colleagues in 2018. So for each one, also we provide also the same way. We provide the type of personalization, the meaning, the examples based on our or from our reviewed articles. So another example is found in the personalized motivational content. For example, context-aware coaching that encourage users to continue maintaining a good levels or a good level of practicing physical activity, personalized gamified and visual feedback of the user's activity level through a personalized animated avatar. So and also to see this, you need to go just to check our appendix to find out more about different way of implementation from the reviewed papers. Let's move on to the effectiveness of personalization in physical activity and sedentary behavior domains. We noted that most of the studies, like 3/4 of the studies, reported successful outcomes, whether fully or partially. We noted that 52% of the studies were fully successful studies, and 24 studies were partially successful. For the effectiveness of personalization in physical activity and sedentary behavior domains, for each personalization, for each way of personalization, or for each type of personalization, for example, personalized motivational content, we count the number of successful and unsuccessful studies for each one. So we noted that the most effective way of personalization had been implemented in our reviewed studies was personalized motivational content with a total of 16 studies reported fully successful outcomes, and 5 studies reported partially successful outcomes. And this is the end of our presentation. So the conclusion is this paper presented some interesting trends on various implementations of personalization strategy and provided a general overview of personalized persuasive technology intervention for promoting physical activity and discouraging sedentary behavior. We uncovered various ways of implementing personalization strategy in different persuasive technologies and compared their effectiveness, including the personalized motivational and educational content feedback, personalized goal and activity recommendations, personalized intervention timing, and personalized fitness partner recommendations. And finally, our findings revealed that persuasive technology uh, interventions for promoting physical activity and decreasing sedentary behavior are effective and promising when they are personalized. And thank you for listening. And this is the end of our uh, presentation. Thank you so much.